कुंज विहारी
गोपीजना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन
यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजन
यमुना तीरावनचारी
यमुना तीरावनचारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल
निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद
जय जय गुरुदेव श्रीपाद गुरुदेव श्रीपाद
जय जय गुरुदेव श्रीपाद गुरुदेव श्रीपाद
तय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल
निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद
जय जय गुरुदेव श्रीपाद गुरुदेव श्रीपाद
जय जय गुरुदेव श्रीपाद गुरुदेव श्रीपाद
जय गुरुवार शिला श्रीपाद की जय। ओम
जय
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम 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 नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
నరం చైవ నరోత్తమం
దేవీం సరస్వతిం వ్యాసం
దేవీం సరస్వతిం వ్యాసం
తతో జయముదీరయేత్.
తతో జయముదీరయేత్.
నష్టప్రాయేషు అభద్రేషు
నష్టప్రాయేషు అభద్రేషు
నిత్యం భాగవత సేవయా
నిత్యం భాగవత సేవయా
భగవతి ఉత్తమ శ్లోకే
భగవతి ఉత్తమ శ్లోకే
భక్తిర్భవతి నైష్టికీ.
భక్తిర్భవతి నైష్టికీ.
Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 16, text number 23. Yanna sprusanti na vidur
యన్నా స్పృశంతి నా విదుర్
mano buddhindriya savaha
మనో బుద్ధీంద్రియా సవః
antarbāhischa vitatam
అంతర్బాహిశ్చ వితతం
vyomavattannato asminnaham.
వ్యోమవత్తన్నతో అస్మి అహం.
The Supreme Brahman emanates from the Supreme Personality of Godhead and expands like the sky. Although untouched by anything material, it exists within and without. Nonetheless, the mind, intelligence, senses, and living force can neither touch him nor know him. I offer unto him my respectful obeisances. Please repeat. The Supreme Brahman
ద సుప్రీం బ్రహ్మన్
emanates from the Supreme Personality of Godhead
emanates from the Supreme Personality of Godhead
and expands like the sky.
and expands like the sky.
Although untouched by anything material,
Although untouched by anything material,
it exists within and without.
it exists within and without.
Nonetheless,
Nonetheless,
the mind,
the mind,
intelligence,
intelligence,
senses,
senses,
and living force
and living force
can neither touch him
can neither touch him
nor know him.
nor know him.
I offer unto him
I offer unto him
my respectful obeisances.
my respectful obeisances.
Om Ajnana-timirandasya Gnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Guru Maharaj Shila Shripad ki jai, Jagat Guru Shila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhaktivedanta purports ki jai. So this sloka is connecting to yesterday's sloka. Yasmin idam yataschedam tishtati apyeti jayate mrunmayeshva iva mrujjatis tasmai te brahmane namaha. As parts made completely of earth are situated on earth after being created and are transformed into earth again when broken, this cosmic manifestation is caused by the Supreme Brahman, situated in the Supreme Brahman and annihilated in the same Supreme Brahman. Therefore, since the Supreme Lord is the cause of Brahman, let us offer him our respectful obeisances. So these two slokas, they reveal that number one, Krishna is the Supreme Brahman. And the example of earthen pot is given, that earthen pot is created from the earth, then it is sustained by the earth, and at the end again it merges into the earth. So therefore, similarly, this cosmic manifestation, so here the cosmic manifestation has been mentioned as being similarly created by the Supreme Brahman, exists by the support of the Supreme Brahman, and similarly at the end, when it is annihilated, it is again mixes in the Supreme Brahman. So here Krishna is called as Supreme Brahman. He is a person, at the same time he has been called as Supreme Brahman. That is Krishna's Achintya Bheda Veda, simultaneously oneness and different from his energies. So this is a very easy to understand as well as very difficult to understand. So, for example, when the government, the Prime Minister claims to have done everything, but in reality, we will see so many people are working on the ground. So, those who are working on the ground, they are subordinate to the Prime Minister and they are acting on his command. So, and under them, there is so many other powers, other people working, and there are other energies. For example, electricity, there is some department head, electricity head, there is department for water, there is department for air. So like this, there are many different personalities, those who are in charge of various energies as well as various personalities. So therefore, when Prime Minister claims, I have done it, nobody can dare to deny it. It is very simple to understand. So the person and energy and the energetic, they are the same. The energetic can claim the energy, but energy cannot claim the energetic. So Krishna can always claim, I am Supreme Brahman. So Krishna qualifies for Brahman. Krishna being the Supreme Person, he qualifies to be anything. So therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, we have so many things. Krishna is saying, I am the taste of the water. Krishna qualifies as the taste of water because it is his arrangement. Under his master plan, under his master design, there is sense of touch. There is sense and there is sense of touch. So therefore, the taste is there. The taste is a special creation that is created by the Lord in this cosmic manifestation, which is undifferentiated in the beginning. Right? So we have so far unable to create the taste. We are creating the robots. We are creating a human-like person, but we are unable to create the sensation yet. So therefore, we have no idea actually what is the sensation. We only know the electric pulse is going through the nerves, but electric pulses are not the sense of touch. They create the sense of touch, but that is not the sense of touch. So we don't yet have robots which eat and feel the sensation. So because we don't even understand the basics, the sense can only be created, the sensation can only be created when there is an entity that can experience the sensation. That means there should be a soul. But the soul is not under jurisdiction and our supervision. Soul is under the supervision of the higher, superior authorities. So we cannot put a soul in a robot as we wish. But we were given a opportunity to create a living being, like father and mother, they create a human being, but they cannot choose a soul also. The soul is chosen by the higher authorities. But they don't remember it. They think it is their child and this is completely their product. But actually, this is the product of the Lord. But the credit is given under their shelter. So the Lord can claim anything. Yes, it's me, like Prime Minister can claim to have done anything that is going on in the country, because ultimately everything is under his direction. But an individual person cannot claim to be the Prime Minister. If somebody claims I am the Prime Minister, then he will be put in the jail. So this is Achintya Bheda Veda Tattva, which we have to understand. So therefore, Krishna qualifies to be Supreme Brahman, because Brahman rests upon Krishna, and this cosmic manifestation rests upon the Brahman. Brahmano hi pratishtaham. I am the foundation of the Brahman, and Brahman is the foundation of this cosmic manifestation. So therefore, Krishna can claim to be Brahman. Krishna can also claim to be cosmic manifestation. Krishna can claim to be anything in this universe. He can claim I am Prahlad. He can claim I am Shiva. He can claim I am Brahma. But they cannot claim I am Krishna. So this is the what we call Raja Vidya, the king of knowledge. The king of knowledge is that I am that person. Krishna is that person. Ultimate foundation of even the Brahman. So therefore, this cosmic manifestation comes out of the Brahman, exists in the Brahman, and also merges into the Brahman. And in today's sloka, it is said that the Supreme Brahman emanates from the Supreme Personality of Godhead and expands like the sky. Although untouched by anything material, it exists within and without. So this is the most difficult thing to conceive, like the space. So the Supreme Brahman, it exists, though it is untouched, but it is all pervading. So means the Brahman is further subtle than anything in this universe. It exists just like microwaves, our cell phone waves, they exist everywhere. That's why wherever we take our phone, we can receive the signal. They exist everywhere, but we cannot touch them. Only a cell phone can experience it, tuned into that frequency. So similarly, the mind, intelligence, senses, and living force can neither touch him nor know him. So our senses cannot touch the Supreme Brahman. Our mind cannot touch. Our intelligence cannot touch. And even the life force cannot touch the Supreme Brahman. Manaha, Buddhihi, Indriyaha, Asavaha, the life airs. So none of these can touch life airs. Asavaha is translated as life airs. So life air is still not different, is still different from the soul. So a living entity which is entrapped in this life airs, intelligence, mind, senses, cannot touch the Supreme Brahman. So the only way But then why are we discussing if we cannot touch, if we cannot read, if we cannot touch him with any of our mind, intelligence, or senses? We cannot touch the Supreme Brahman, but Supreme Brahman can touch us. So, just like we can say, a newly born baby, he cannot climb to the 100th floor. A skyscraper building is there. He cannot climb to the 100th floor. But if his father takes him, carries him, he can. So, similarly here, the senses cannot touch the Supreme Brahman. The mind cannot touch the Supreme Brahman. The intellect cannot touch the Supreme Brahman. But Supreme Brahman can touch our mind, he can touch our intelligence, he can touch our senses. So that is the beauty of Supreme Brahman. So therefore, those who are absorbed in the pure Brahman consciousness, without paying attention to the foundation of the Supreme Brahman, Sri Krishna, they get lost only in this aspect of unable to touch, unable to smell, unable to move, unable to think, unable to interact. Because we cannot interact, but he can interact. The Supreme Lord, who is the foundation of the Supreme Brahman, who can claim himself to the Supreme Brahman, he can touch us. He is touching Sudhama, he is embracing. Sudhama able to feel, Arjuna able to feel, right? So many devotees can touch Krishna, embrace Krishna. Krishna will embrace. So if Krishna is Brahman, then how those devotees are able to, how the senses of the devotees are able to touch Krishna? It is because the Supreme Brahman can touch us. He can bring us himself into being accessed by this gross realm. He can make the light pass through him or reflect from him. Because he is the Supreme Personality. He is the Supreme Brahman. So when he wants to be invisible, he will let the light go through him. And when he wants to be visible, he will reflect the light. Similarly, though our senses, our body senses are gross, so when Krishna wants, he can embrace and we can feel the sensation. And if Krishna doesn't want, we cannot feel Krishna at all. We cannot even see. We cannot even touch. So therefore, Supreme Brahman cannot be touched by the senses on their own merit. Sevan mukhe jihvado swayameva spurati. If somebody is inclined to serve the Lord, starting from the tongue, then swayameva spurati. Then he will touch us. He will touch our intellect, he will touch our mind, he will touch our life airs, he will touch our senses, he will touch our vision, he will touch our sound. He can touch everything. So therefore, the Brahman and the Supreme Person who can claim to be Supreme Brahman, they should be understood together in order to not get lost in the logical jargon. Because the logic is infinite and person will be lost. And no much improvement, because it is avyaktam hi gatir hi dukkham. There is more suffering than enjoyment or happiness. Just like a scientist, he suffers for many years before finally he will get one spark of creativity to understand a little aspect of this cosmic manifestation. So similarly, those who are pure Brahmavadis, those who try to reduce everything to this unmanifested, untouched Brahman, non-interactive Brahman, ignoring Bhagavan as well as Paramatma. So their way path is also similar to like that. They do so much. They break their brains and minds and intellect to fit in the conception of Brahman, which is infinite in their tiny brains. So therefore, their everything breaks and they get tired mentally, intellectually, physically. But in order to encourage them, just like Krishna, in order to encourage the scientists, one who is working hard, he gives the results. So he gives sometimes some insight. So to these pure Brahmavadis also, Krishna gives little knowledge about the Brahman, some aspect, some insight into how the Supreme Brahman is all pervading, which is not wrong, but that is not the whole picture. But since they are interested only in the partial picture and not interested in the person Krishna, Krishna being kind father, he allows them to be in that situation. But that is the same effort if they put in the devotional line, maybe 1%, that can impress Krishna very easily. Salpamapyasya dharmasya trayata mahad bhayat. For the devotees, Krishna is a swift deliverer, fast-paced, or we will say fast forward, or tatkal, tatkal reservation. So with devotion, one can make tatkal reservation. The Lord, who will come under the purview of the intellect, mind, the senses, including the sensations of touch, vision, sound, smell. So when the Brahmavadi gets this special blessings of the Lord, just like the 4 Kumaras, we will see in the coming chapters. The coming chapters, or it is already done, I don't remember, 4 Kumaras. So when the Supreme Brahman came into the touch of the smell, when they smelled the Tulasi leaves offered at the lotus feet of the Lord, Tulasi leaves they are smelling whole life. But when they had the fragrance of the Tulasi leaves that are offered at the lotus feet of the Lord, for the first time they had the smell of the Supreme Brahman. So this is a special blessing of the Lord. So therefore, when there is special mercy, either by the Lord or by his devotees, those who are lost in the Brahman and suffering intellectually, mentally, because intellectually they are unable to fit the conception, and mentally because they are unable to realize in their life. Because where is that all-pervading Brahman? I think I am the Brahman, but I am not feeling sensation. I am feeling sensation only about my body. I am not knowing the sensation in the body of others. I am not knowing what is happening in the other part, in the other room. I am unable to know what is happening, what happened in my past life. So therefore, to conceive the Brahman, it is an intellectual torture. To conceive, and because we are unable to realize it in the real life, it is a mental torture. And because we spend our body in these 2 tortures, the body also tortures. Therefore, Krishna says, Avyaktam hi gatir hi dukkham. Because we aspire for something which we do not qualify. Like, because unnatural position, fish out of water. So fish, instead of swimming in the water, it wants to become the water. So therefore, that is a problem. So we, the living being, wherever we are supposed to swim at the lotus feet of the Brahman, swim in the Brahman, in the swim in the Brahman. But when we try to become Brahman, then all our problems will start. Are they very, very difficult? So therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam is a blessing. The book Bhagavata and personal Bhagavata and the Bhagavan, these three, when they have the mercy, the person who is so suffering in the Brahman, that Brahma Sukham Anantam. Brahma Sukham is Anantam, but when try to become Brahman himself, then it is Avyaktam hi gatir hi dukkham. Supposed to be, this Ananda is supposed to be Kartum Sukham Avyayam. So it's supposed to be blissful, but because one is trying to become Brahman, which one is not, one is somebody turn off my camera. I am on broadband and please turn on my camera. So that Brahman, which is Ananta Sukham, becomes great suffering if one try to become Brahman. We are part and parcel of Brahman. We are not the whole Brahman. So we should remember that and not get misled or so. Hare Krishna. Moderator Prabhuji. Where is our moderator Prabhuji? Vrajalila Devidasi has become moderator. Vrajalila Mataji. Just a minute.
Hare Krishna, Mara.
So, do you know how to?
No, I don't know.
Just a minute. Let me log out and log in again.
Hare Krishna Maharaj Ji, Dandavat Pranam and sorry.
Hare Krishna. Okay.
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay. So, any questions?
Our Govind Maharaj Ji is having a question.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam Maharaj Ji. Sorry to keep you waiting.
No, I'm waiting. I'm
I
waiting.
know.
I'm waiting since eternity.
While trying to fix it, I think we have forgotten the class what we spoke in the
I think our situation is not hopeless, so we can wait.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Maharaj Ji, please.
You know, interesting, Prabhupada writes in the purport translation first line that
Hmm.
Krishna is the source of the Supreme Brahman. And
Hmm.
Krishna is described as Supreme Brahman. The idea is that if anyone has any concept of Supreme Brahman, if it is not Krishna, then they have to see Krishna as being the source of their concept of Supreme Brahman. That's a very interesting statement. You know what I mean? Because they say, oh, Krishna is yes person, but Supreme Brahman is something beyond. That is defied. Srila Prabhupada is so much educated all the sadhakas that we don't fall trap to anybody trying to establish Supreme Brahman above Krishna or beyond Krishna. So even Supreme Brahman, as we accept as Krishna, the Supreme Person of God is the person, the Supreme Person. But those who have different ideas, those who deny the personality, Srila Prabhupada is establishing that yes, Krishna is the source of even Supreme Brahman. That way he's safeguarding us from the possibility of any distraction. Right. You expand a little bit.
No, Maharaj Ji is good enough. आपने बता दिया अच्छा है.
Yes,
Maharaj.
Maharaj Ji. Our Balram Ji is having a question. Balram Ji, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Balaram Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you very much for this nice discussion. Yeah, there was some interruption, but it's okay. We are all waiting. Yeah, for this nice discussion, I had some questions. So you spoke about this untouchability of the Brahman and the material world, and also the controller. So I have a few points here. So when we say untouched, the Brahman is untouched, but Brahman is spread everywhere. So that means it's touching everything, isn't it? So, I mean, how do we say that it's not touching anything or anything cannot touch? So, I mean, even if you say, let's say the anything, sky is untouched by the material world, but sky is everywhere. So that means it's touching everything.
That's why it is said avyaktam hi gatir hi dukkham. You try to fit in our teeny brain about the infinite Brahman.
Yes.
So however far you go, it still reveals the complete conception of Brahman is elusive.
And about this, the controller. So when we pray the demigods or even Krishna, so he grants some changes in our life, or the demigods also, because of the yajna. So that means we can determine partially what is going to happen. It's not completely the God I mean, he, of course, he grants, but we can change whatever is there in our destiny. Yeah. And the other point I had is you said the suffering in the Brahman, those people who are Brahman realized, they suffer, but I don't think they are suffering, but they don't know the actual, the rasa, the higher enjoyment, but they are not suffering, I guess. Yeah. So could you explain these two, three things?
So you are talking about Brahman realized. I'm talking about those who are trying to realize Brahman.
Okay. Okay.
Those who are realized Brahman, also Brahman is still intriguing. And suffocation will come sooner or later, because of which they again come back to take birth again to do more things. Because the soul needs variety, not undifferentiated Brahman. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, our Nilmada Prabhuji is having a question. Nilmada Prabhuji, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavad Pranam. My question is like, so when we get this idea of Krishna is everything, and actually every time this point comes up, I get confused of what is use of us, because even for Seva also he has so many exalted devotees. Even he can expand and he is enjoying. So what is role of us? What is the use of us in entire existence? Because even for Seva also he has so many exalted devotees who gives much more quality Seva than like
Yes.
me. So what is the use of me then?
So you want to bunk Bhakti?
No, I'm not bunking Maharaj. Not like that. Like
so what is the point?
so in the team, at least in the team, like if you just from normal, just like in the team, if there is one player who is playing everything, so what is the use of other players? It's like that. If one player is, if there is one very exalted player, he plays everything. So what is the use of other players then? It's like that.
Okay. So here there are two aspects. Number one is that Krishna doesn't need us, but we need Krishna. This much is accepted. Are you unmuted or unmuted? Okay, I think you are muted. So Krishna doesn't need us, but we need Krishna. Number one. Number two, in your player's example, Krishna is claiming you also as himself. Krishna is not becoming all the players. Krishna is claiming all players as himself, as being himself. There is a difference between he himself becoming the player and claiming players to be himself, his. So, in this case, Krishna is claiming to be the demigod. Krishna is not becoming the demigod. So, Krishna is giving space to others also, because others do exist. We do exist, and as we have discussed, Krishna is everything, but everything is not Krishna. So this oneness and difference. So Krishna already has claimed us to be himself, right? Krishna claimed me as his. So if this hand is mine, then I use as I like. So when Krishna has claimed me as his, then am I acting in the way he wants me to act? That is the sadhana bhakti. And when we act as an instrument of the Lord, so then we are on the proper platform. So therefore, it is incorrect to think that Krishna is playing all 11 players. No, Krishna is allowing everybody to play, but Krishna is claiming each player to be himself. Each player to be his player. So in this way, there is a difference. And we need Krishna, so therefore, whether Krishna needs us or not, we have to beg Krishna, please accept me as your servant. So that is the compassion of Krishna. Though he doesn't need us, he takes our help. Like I have one assistant, for example. He doesn't know how to do things properly. It is better I do it myself. But out of compassion, if we engage the assistant so that he gets benefited, he gets connected to Krishna. So that is compassion. Or you have a lot of money, you can drive yourself better than the driver, but you employ a driver so that he also get benefited. That is compassion. So therefore, the very statement you have made that Krishna can do everything, but still he is accepting, that is his compassion. Otherwise, what we do, it is not fit to be offered to Krishna. It is not fit to be, the service that we do doesn't fit to be offered to the Supreme Person. Like Prime Minister is coming, you are employing a cook who doesn't know how to cook. But this is the case with Krishna on a daily basis. He has to eat the food prepared by many people who doesn't know cooking. That is Krishna's position. So, but out of love, out of compassion, he is giving us seva. He is giving us, engaging us. That is his compassion. So it is not the question of what is our use. That is our need. We need. Our need is that Krishna is fulfilling our need. Without being connected with Krishna, we cannot survive. So therefore, Krishna is giving an opportunity to situate ourselves in a perfect situation, perfect way, best possible way. So don't be compassionate on Krishna that Krishna doesn't need him. So let me not disturb Krishna. It is not like that. We are object of Krishna's mercy. So it is out of Krishna's mercy that we are engaged. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. If you have any more doubts or questions, raise hand or other questions.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj ji. Or Achit Keshav Prabhu is having the question. Achit Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaj Dandavat.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. When is your next class? Bhagavatam.
After 2 weeks. After
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Prabhuji, please.
Now, Maharaj, you stated that the conception of impersonal Brahman, and even after realizing that it is painful because of certain reason, So you see what happens means then why this conception is given to the person, or this conception is there. This facility is there to the living entity that they can go to that platform where it will become painful. Where when Krishna knows that is because it is not like we are living a material life in this world to have sense enjoyment. There are so many restrictions and people take that restriction. So the whole thing means if there is no conception, even there so many phenomena, so many things are there which we don't know and we will never know that. But then impersonal Brahman is specifically given. So what is the purpose actually behind this?
The same purpose as this material world. This material world is suffering, but why it is there?
But material world, we have the living entity get the facility to come to the platform of realization, or there are, this is, this the purpose behind this material world is that we can, after living in this place, we realize this is not a place for living, we have better place. But
Impersonal Brahman realization also, that opportunity is still there. You can still know that there is something even better than this.
But impersonal Brahman, I heard, I don't know where but that if the living entity has to come to this material platform again to perform bhakti, and then they can go back. They cannot, because in that place, because this lack of variegatedness, the bhakti cannot be performed.
Yeah, improved from there means they again come here to improve. Means that is still a place, opportunity is there to realize that it is not fully comfortable. Means Brahman realization is not the final destination. Final destination is Yadgatva Nanuvartante Tadhama Paramam Mama. Until one reaches the abode of Krishna. So there is return. If one is going to demigods, return is very fast. But one going to Brahman, return could be a little longer, very long. But one will return until one attains the abode and association of the Lord. Like you go to the first class AC, but definitely from the general compartment it is uncomparable. But still there is something still better. You will realize there still there is some problems are there. So like that, Brahman realization is definitely free from material suffering. But that is not full fulfillment of the potential of the living being. Potential happiness of the living being. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
But then this delays the, like this impersonal Brahman, first of all, it is so difficult to realize. Even after realizing, whatever time the living entity has to stay in that concept.
Yeah.
So at the same time, Krishna is giving the bhakti path, the devotional path for the living entity to come to the ultimate platform.
Right.
So then this conception of Brahman itself is hidden by Krishna. Then this
conception is not given by Krishna. Conception is already there.
But who has made it available? Unless Krishna wants, so many things in material world.
Everything Krishna only makes it available, but because there are living beings who want it. Or the living entities, they have a desire, that is the only place such desires can be entertained. In a little bit meaningful or unmeaningful way. So everything, all paths are led by Krishna only. Path to hell also led by Krishna only. So it is to facilitate the desires of living entity, and that is natural to the living entity. Free will, you can will anything. That facility is always there with the living entity. So when you will, when one wishes or when one needs, Krishna reveals the Brahman possibility. There are people who don't like a person above. They like committees or impersonal committees or impersonal Brahman. So why that is Nitya Baddha. Nature is Nitya Baddha. Because of Nitya Baddha, this option Krishna has revealed. Because Nitya Baddha living entity doesn't accept a person. Right? Some higher, something above, which there one person is not there. So this is one possibility where Krishna gives possibility. So as all the paths are given by Krishna. So the root cause is the nature of the living being Nitya Baddha, being disobedient or to the Supreme Person. So therefore, these all have to be created in different phases. Right? Why there are 8,400,000 species of life? Same. Because to incorporate our craziness, Krishna being a loving father, he has to provide facility. Open the facility. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maybe we can conclude.
So thank you all for joining. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Jagat Guru Shila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj Shila Shripad.
Jai.
Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari.
Hare Hare Bol. His Holiness Bhakti Swarup Rajpat Maharaj ki Jai. Thank you all and all for joining. See you all on tomorrow's class. Hare Krishna.